Hi everyone, and welcome to Talerang's community building event today for celebrating Republic Day. In the theme of the event, I'm going to start with 3 goals for Talerang for the year ahead, using Edward de Bono's thinking hats in the colors of the flag. So can anyone tell me what is the white hat? What is the white hat for? Anyone? Edward de Bono's white hat? Anyone can participate.
Six decision makings.
Yes, so Edward de Bono's hat. The white hat is the information hat. And that's the hat that is really about making sure that whatever decisions we're taking, we're using information. So as we look at the year ahead, as we look at 2022 for Talerang, one of the things we want to make sure is that we become India's most trusted content platform in employability. So we're in the process of building out thousands of hours of content on employability, making sure that free information through our app and our web app is available to the country at large, as well as to other countries like Africa and other parts of Asia to help people become work ready. In this information theme, we're also launching a podcast with Amazon Audible called Bano Job Ready, which will come out in a few months in English to reach out to a wider audience and help people get work ready at scale. Can anyone tell me what is the orange hat? The orange hat? Okay, that's a trick question. There's a red hat of Edward de Bono. Emotion? Absolutely. So the red hat, we're cheating a bit here, is essentially about emotion and empathy. And that's an aspect which we really need to take care of during this pandemic, and especially as all of us have realized the importance of mental health as a whole. So we're nurturing our team more, we're spending more time on checking in with our alums in general and making sure that we're building a positive and happy community. Yes, we want to be work ready, but we can only be work ready if we also tap into our emotions and don't ignore them. By caring for each other, nurturing each other, and supporting each other through thick and thin. And the third one is the green hat. Can anyone tell me what that's for?
Creativity.
Creativity, perfect. So all the people who participated are going to get prizes throughout the session as per all Talerang events. So make sure that you jump in. So the third goal of Talerang for the year is to launch a course called Out of the Box, which is going to be focused only on creative thinking. And the idea is to make sure that all of us are not becoming clones and robots and just copying everything that's in the textbook, but really thinking outside the box, because when companies hire, that's what they ultimately want. They want people who are creative. And especially now with the amount of ambiguity and change, they want people who are dynamic as well. So we look forward to launching this course by the summer with your support. So that's a little bit about Talerang in red, green, and white. And with that, I'm going to hand over to the branding team who's done an amazing job of creating some fun content for you today, as well as some really engaging speakers.
Hello, everyone. So the first speaker of today is Ms. Seema Kamble. Seema Kamble has been working in the field of education over the past 15 years. She completed her Teach for India Fellowship in Pune in 2010 to 12. She joined the 3-2-1 Education Foundation as a founding team member and kindergarten teacher, and later on became the school principal from 2014 to 17. She has also worked with the government of Maharashtra's Education Ministry for creating Maharashtra International Schools, designing high-quality public schools equivalent to international education. She currently works with the American School of Bombay as Community, Social Responsibility and CAS Coordinator. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Firstly, can you all hear me? I guess that's the first question everyone asks. Okay, it's lovely to be here. Wishing you all a very, very happy Republic Day. What I'm actually, I'm only saying myself and I don't really like that. So I'm going to change my view to a gallery view so I can see everyone. Okay. So what I would like to do is, what I'm about to speak today is something really, really close to my heart, which is the idea of doing and being. And that's what I'm going to do today. What I want you all to do is take a moment to think about one thing that has moved you in past 1 week. Moved you in a way, inspiration, overwhelming, positivity, hope, trust, whatever that might be. And once you have that, just have that answer, I would love for you to add those on chat box. You know, there's a prize for a first responder as well. It can be an activity for sure, yes.
Can
A
I
person,
say?
an idea, an activity.
Can I speak? Can I say
Of
about it?
course, yes.
So recently, I was part of Teach for India's recruitment drive itself. I was managing the drive, so I was seeing how it was being taken by the people from Teach for India itself. So they were presenting their ideas, and like the PPT presentation was being done, and it was very emotional presentation because they were actually showcasing how students in the backward areas are unable to get access to the education, and how they are actually currently being lagged behind with the opportunities in this COVID situation and everything. Like, we can actually do this, but we are able to get this technology advancement and all these advantage, but they are unable to, and how they are lacking behind in the study and all those whomsoever, like even they are willing to, but they are unable to do so. So that was very emotional part for me. Like recently, it was just few days back when I got to know how the way they showed their PPT. Definitely, that was very inspirational as well.
Thank you, Shruti, for sharing that. Yoga, meditation, something that you've heard or seen have really moved you. What I really, really believe is in our everyday life, there are so many moments of joy, of change, of belief, and of hope and trust, and witnessing truth, which many times could be the hardest thing to do. And my hope today is to really look at what each one of us can really stand for as an individual and as a collective action. If I have, do I have the permission to share screen? I think I do. Okay, perfect. Somebody, and yeah, wishing you all a very happy Republic Day. Does anyone have any questions, any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a question. Can I?
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever we are talking about why, there has been a lot of literature and talks. Like Simon Sinek also talks about why. But I think sometimes it is about what. So how should we structurize the why, or should we go for the what? What do you suggest?
What, you will find many ways, you will find many words. The why is the critical aspect. Once you know why you're doing it, the what will fall into place. And sometimes that why is also not really easy to get it, because that's the and that's what we want to aim for, right? Like, we want to aim for the things that are not easy, that doesn't come to us easily. So Aditya, what I would say is, if I want to spread love, there's no one way of spreading love. There's not one what, right? There are 100 what's that I can choose and I can spread. So I would say, find your why and choose who you want to become, and everything else will follow. I really believe in that. And thank you for asking that question.
Thanks a lot for answering. Thanks a ton.
Anybody else? So yeah, just wanted to wish you all, and I know all of you in your own ways making a difference and doing your bit for envisioning the world that you really want to see. And I wish each one of us a year and many years of change, of love and of hope, and looking at those many truths that we have. Many of those are positive, and many of those are the ones which really makes us wonder and which really makes us question. I hope we hold on to those wonderings and those questions, and we change those wonderings and questions into wonders and miracles and magic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seema ma'am. That was really interesting discussion.
Thank you.
And wish you a happy Republic Day as well. Thank you so much for being here with us. Now, we have a small quiz planned up. And the idea is to have the same spirit that we have when we have a cricket match with one of our neighbors, minus the hate. And the idea is also to have more of Mahatma Gandhi's photos in our wallets and in the wallets of the people of this nation. And we do that by making our youth employable and making a work ready India. So we have a small quiz planned, and I would request Lakshay to quickly explain the rules and how it will go about. Over to you, Lakshay.
Thanks, Mac. So, hi everyone. Let's play a quiz. We are gonna have some fun. So, there will be two sections in this quiz. First, there will be 5 MCQs regarding our history and around Republic Day. After that, we'll be playing the Guess the Movie section, in which you all guys will be guessing the movie from either a picture or a song that we'll play. So, the rules are pretty simple. You all will be writing the answers in the chat box. The first answers we'll get in the 10 seconds. We'll evaluate based on that. And we'll also announce the winner after the quiz. The winner gets a hamper from Talerang. So let's start.
All right, without further ado, let's look at the first question. So the first question is very simple. When was the first Republic Day celebrated? Answers in the chat, and we will look at the correct answers as well. Okay.
Answer as fast you can.
Okay, I think the time is up, and the first answer is here from Sarthak Singhal, and you have the correct answer. Congratulations, Sarthak. Let's move on to the second question. And this is again something that we all learned in 5th grade. So, who is known as the father of the Indian Constitution? 10 seconds on the clock, and answers in the chat. All right. So, the correct answer is Dr. BHIMRAO AMBEDKAR, and it's really difficult to guess who's got it first. So Nafisa will be keeping track, and this is where it gets interesting because we don't know who answered first and who answered correctly, so we will know at the end of the quiz. So we can move on to the next question, which is who takes the military salute on Republic Day? Anyone else? And the time is up. Let's look at the correct answer. The correct answer is the president. And the next question is how many gun salutes are presented to the president on Republic Day? You guys are very quick with the answers. I guess civics was your favorite subject. History. Nice. Keep them coming. And the time is up, and the correct answer is 21. I think most of us have gotten it right. And we have another question, which is in the famous trio Lal Bal Pal, who was Pal? Tough one. Doesn't seem like it. We all seem to know the answer. This is great. And let's look at the correct answer. It is Bipin Chandrapal. Now the next question is guess the movies. So these are patriotic movies and we have removed the names from the poster and you have to guess what movie the poster is from and what patriotic movie this is. So the poster is, we have to put down the answers. There are no options here. This is not an MCQ. Keep them coming.
We
You
need
can
to
just
announce
guess.
the winners. The suspense is killing us. We need to announce the winners.
Have some more questions left.
Okay.
Water seems to be a great choice, but let's find out if it is. So the answer is LOC Kargil.
So the scoreboard, Sarthak Singhal is leading as of now.
Congratulations, Sarthak. Let's keep up. And we have another question. You have to guess the song and the movie from this audio.
सब छोड़ के तेरी राह में लेकर
Okay, the answers have started coming in. Pretty great. Everyone knows. Can we quickly look at the answer now? So no one has gotten this one right. Guys, are you all millennials? Why are you watching Lakshay and not Airlift? All right, we are moving on to the next question. Now we have to guess what movie this is. Okay. Sarthak is on fire. Yes, Sonali, Vidisha, Tanishri, Gauri, and we'll look at the correct answer. It's Mangal Pandey. Everyone knows this one. Seems to be an easy one. We'll look at next question and it's again guess the song and the movie.
कोई गम की आँच आने नहीं दो तुझ पे कोई गम की आँच आने नहीं दो कुर्बान मेरी जान तुझ पे शाद रहे तू कुर्बान मेरी जान तुझ पे शाद रहे तू
Brilliant movie and great acting by Alia Bhatt, and everyone seems to have gotten it right, but we'll still look at the answer and it's Razi. We have another question. Very provoking. Poster. Very impactful. We're waiting. Great. Great, let's look at the correct answer. It is The Legend of Bhagat Singh. I think we all missed out on the name. It was incomplete. But great job. We can look at the next question now. Okay. I have no doubt that no one will get this wrong. So guys, I would request you to put the full name. This is not the full name of the film. Yes, Weber. Can we look at the correct answer? And it is Uri the Surgical Strike. Let's move on to the next question.
And this is the last and the final.
The last and the final question. Okay, Nafisa, do we have the winners after this one? Okay, this is pretty easy. The songs still ring in my head from my childhood. Great, guys. This is Rang De Basanti. Great job, guys.
At least I got the last one.
Nafisa, we can share.
So congratulations, Sarthak Singhal, you're the winner. You have a total of 4 questions correct, and that too, the fastest finger. So congratulations.
Please send your address to Nafisa and Kaustubh so they can send you your hamper.
Sure.
So thank you so much, Lakshay and Mahek, for this interesting quiz. Now today with us, we have Prabhakaran Karunamurthy. Prabhakaran is a social entrepreneur and a change maker with more than 10 years of experience in diverse, challenging environments, including social movements in education, environment, and volunteering. He is a senior manager at Bhumi and has previously worked at Grassroots App, The Art of Living, and Teach for India. He is passionate about playing a key role in mobilizing more change makers and supporting individuals and social movements to grow. We are really grateful to have you here today, Mr. Prabhakaran.
Hi, everyone. Am I audible? Can you confirm, Nafisa?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Great. All right. I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but the news is that there is no power in my place in Chennai. I was hoping I'll be the first one so that it doesn't affect much, but I should be okay. I think I'm just connected from my 4G. I'll come on video if it's I'll go off video. That's okay. All right. A very, very good evening. I hope to match the energy of Seema and the request that happened before me. Also, anybody, if my voice is breaking, if net is not, please ping or unmute and share. So I wouldn't know. So thanks for having me here. This is what I wanted to talk about. The question is, how can we all volunteer? And more importantly, even better, how can we all become those leaders who are able to build volunteer movements for a cause that we truly believe in, right? So that's the context of what I'm going to be talking about today. Great. Give me 1 minute. All right. So before we start, and as we start, as I just fix my power is also back. As I fix my background, one quick question for all of us is: what do you want to take away? If this is the topic of the session, the topic is we're going to talk about how we can all volunteer and how we can all lead cause movements. Just take 1 minute and share. What do you want to take away? What specific question are you having in your mind as you see these questions? What would you want to take away? Quick 30 seconds, snappy response on your chat box. We'd love to hear from most of you. Go ahead, shoot. Keep sharing. I just see employability from one of you. What else would you want to take away? Any question or anything you want to specifically take away from this particular session? I'll wait for 3-4 more seconds and then we can move forward. Great. Next slide, Sri. I'll just start by giving a very short brief of where I come from, my organization, which is Bhumi. Thanks, I keep. Okay, now I think my net is back to speed, so I can see some responses. So I'll come back to that. Bhumi was founded in 2006. We are one of India's largest independent volunteering organizations, and one of the unique things about Bhumi is that we are cause agnostic in a lot of ways. While our projects are cause specific, we look at engaging volunteers and having volunteer-driven impact projects across multiple causes that are important for the country, important for people. So that's something I believe is very unique about who we are as an organization. And that's also how we have been able to build such a strong network of more than 35,000 volunteers in the last few years, because we've been able to take on multiple things and be able to scale those projects. So those are some pointers about Bhumi. Next slide, please. Great. I had already asked this question. I saw some responses in the chat box. I'll also quickly just very specific ones are there. Narrate what I believe you will definitely take away. We will touch upon why is it that you consider volunteering, right? I know some of you may be already volunteering, some of you may not be. So we're going to look a little bit into why is it that you should volunteer, and also why is it that everybody should volunteer. That's one takeaway I'm hoping we'll all take. Second is, after that question, we'll start with, okay, I want to volunteer. Where do I start? How do I start volunteering is the second question we're going to explore. Third is, of course, the crux of if you're somebody who's looking to lead volunteer-centric movements, cause movements as a leader, where do you start? What are some principles you need to think about? That's the larger agenda for the call. Next slide. Great, next one. So when I think of why one should volunteer, there are two different dynamics or perspective that come to mind. Right? One is what it does to you. So if you can all look at the screen for 5-10 seconds, these are proven statistics, and you go and speak to any volunteer, they'll tell you how volunteer just brings them joy, right? It brings enormous sense of purpose, it brings joy, it's good for you, good for your physical health in a lot of ways based on the activity, it's good for your mental health. You just feel more good, you just feel more happy that you've contributed back and you've given back something to the world. That's one part of the story. Next slide. Other part of the story is a bit mixed the way I'm going to put it. I think my personal story of why I'm here in Bhumi promoting volunteering is that I used to be part of the Teach for India movement for 4 years, and I used to be extremely connected to the cause of education. And then after that journey, one of the questions I've pondered about is I saw everybody around me wanted to do something about the things that were bothering them, right? You're angry about some things, you're bothered, you're saddened, you're extremely moved. But then people, not all of them act, right? One of my biggest push and driving factor for being part of Bhumi, before which I was part of a social enterprise where we were building an ecosystem for volunteering, is that everybody should start acting, right? And why is that important? Because the problems we face are extremely wicked, right? For example, take poverty. Is there one silver bullet that you use to solve poverty? No, right? Like you need change at the policy level. You still need somebody going and giving them bare essential like raw material goods to survive today, right? Because policy won't change the reality today. It's probably going to take time, right? So these problems are extremely wicked in the way we put it. Wicked in the sense that it's very complicated, very like it's a complicated network where you cannot have just one solution solve it. And hence all the more reason for all of us to in our own capacity, see how can I contribute? How can my organization contribute? How can we all contribute to wicked problems, right? Third is, of course, that most people want to, hopefully everybody wants to, and everyone can, right? Case in point, COVID. I want to hear some responses from you, either if you unmute or share in your chat box. How do you think different professions or different type of people supported our COVID relief efforts? Why don't you start sharing, unmute or put in the chat box? Think of different people you can think of. Like I'm asking, who all contributed to supporting this world during COVID? How did they contribute? Who were they? It could be their profession, it could be their who they were as a person. So start sharing. Let's hear some responses. Also feel free to unmute and share. How do you think people and who all contributed? Doctors, healthcare system, great. Who else contributed? Donation.
Can I
say
something?
Think of some other extreme. How did you contribute? Can some of you? How did you contribute? Police departments, great.
I think
how did we all
contributed a lot.
Prashanti, your voice is not very audible. Can you repeat again?
I think the pharmacists also contributed a lot.
Absolutely, the pharmacists contributed, nurses contributed. How did we all contribute? We started cascading messages, awareness campaigns, right? There were multiple NGOs contributing to these initiatives. CSRs, corporates were contributing through funding. I know corporates that were in the space of medicine were contributing through their technology, right? This is a typical organic movement that that is pressing need has brought, and everybody is able to find a way to contribute. And this is actually true for every single problem, and not just COVID. Every single problem you take, education, environment, animal welfare, healthcare, you'll find that almost every person can contribute in some way. Might not be in a similar way, might not be in the same magnitude, but everybody can, and everybody really can look at contributing. Right? That's the third pillar, that everybody can and everybody should, because the problems are extremely wicked that we don't have single solution to solve these wicked problems we have. Right? Next slide. Hence, by now, if you're thinking, okay, I'm either already volunteering or I'm not volunteering, but would love to volunteer. The next question is, of course, where do I start? Right? So, in the interest of time, I'm going to kind of rush this through and then create more space for us to discuss and talk, which I think is going to be far more relevant and useful. Right? Next slide, sheet. So, typically, there are three. To begin with, it's literally here and now. Right? With COVID, I think if you just go online and search virtual opportunities to volunteer, you will find a number of them, right? And with virtual, what's also been beautiful is that a lot of the beneficiaries are started getting access to technology, right? Some of the children we never had access to in Bhumi few months, years back. Because of COVID, we were able to reach them. To give you an example, one of our programs, we also do this cultural fest for children in shelter homes, right? Before COVID, we were hardly able to reach 3-4 states. But through COVID, because we were forced to think differently and we were supposed to use tech and not do it in person, we had this event called Nakshatra, which happened in almost every single state in India except one, right? And almost like 1,000 children participated and close to 200 volunteers volunteered. Now, this would have never been possible without the created opportunity of virtual world and the COVID. So with virtual, there is more opportunity to contribute. Next slide, please. To be specific, you will see that there are 3 ways you can start right now. Right? First is, of course, you don't depend on an entity or others. You say, I will individually go out and volunteer. Where do you start? Start with finding a home near you, an old age home, a shelter home. Go and start asking, can I support? Is there something I can teach? Is there something I can tell the beneficiaries in that context? Go out and feed a stray animal if you are somebody who is passionate about animal welfare and animal safety and animal clean up your locality, bring up cleanliness, remove plastic, contribute to the environment, plant a tree near your home if you want, right? So million ways for you to independently and individually walk out and say, I want to contribute, I want to volunteer, right? I also added how it need not just be acting, it could also be awareness, which is what I think today social media is doing, right? Across causes, all of us have the power to be cause advocates. We are able to voice out that this is a cause we should all think about and worry about it. That's the magic that the virtual connectedness has brought in, right? If we're saying, okay, I don't want to individually contribute, I want to find an organization that's going to allow me to volunteer and contribute. I'll just put a very base sample set NGO list to start there. You'll find 2 types of NGOs who are directly doing the work and have a cause focus. For example, Make a Difference has cause focus is education. So you can go and volunteer with them towards impact. Bhumi has multiple cause focus projects where you can volunteer and create an impact. There are also, if you're not sure, networks who connect you with NGOs, which is, for example, the I Volunteer or the Connect For. If you go to their site, I hope you note down if you want to volunteer, you will find opportunities across NGOs in the country which you can volunteer for, right? If you're not sure where to start. So that's how you can start if it's your preference is where I want to find an organization and start volunteering with them. Third is, of course, you're saying, hey, Prabha, actually I want to start my own thing. I have a cause I'm deeply connected to, and I want to start building a movement with people through it, right? That's what we're going to go a little bit in depth into. So see next year, I'm also going to pause to take any questions at this point of time, if there's any pressing question. I'll wait for 5 seconds and then we can get going if there are no specific questions at this point of time. Great. Okay, we'll move forward. In case you're somebody who's here and who's asking, how can I start my own cause movement? I put on 5 pillars that I've learned, I've heard from people, and I think are largely essential in building any volunteer-driven movement. First thing is to have a common cause, right? You look at every single leader that I think Seema put on that slide. Can some of you recollect some of them? In the chat box or unmute, can you recollect some of the leaders that you saw in that slide that Seema put up with all the leaders across the country, across the world? unmute, share, use the chat box. Great. Jimmy Carter, Mandela. Yeah, there are so many examples. Sai Mystery from Teach for India, Prahaladan from Bhumi, right? All these big ideas, like some Akshay Patra, which is a movement. It's such a big movement, catering to hunger for lakhs of people. Was one man's idea, right? Aravind Eye Hospital was one man's idea. It's all one people believing in a cause and inviting others who believe in the same cause to move with them. That's a fundamental requisite for a cause movement. You need to have a cause that people will care about, right? COVID was a cause, right? COVID, nobody came and asked, hey, why are we volunteering? It's out there. There was a cause to cater to, and we all moved, and we all called in our own way. Second is, any volunteer-driven movement needs to have a sense of community, right? Why is it important? Because a lot of ways volunteers also come forward to volunteer because they are seeking that companionship, that they're seeking that company to do things together. It's very hard to do things alone, right? I hope all of you here can understand that. So volunteers in any ecosystem need a company to feel like we are in this together and we are moving together, right? Other reasons, of course, that some people also find volunteering as a means to feel socially connected to people, right? That I have my own group of people who I can go and plant a tree with, I can go and visit a shelter home, right? That's a sense of community, and it's an essential part of any great, good volunteering ecosystem. Third is that you should have, the system should be absolutely no or very minimal hierarchical, right? Why is this important? Because people volunteer, right? By the sense of that word, you know that people are choosing to contribute voluntarily, right? There, it's very hard to use force and say, no, you need to do this. This is how you need to do. So any scale, if you look at the volunteering system, you will not see any hierarchy. Okay? Can one of you share an example of any organic volunteering movement that you have observed in the past that literally had no hierarchy? Shoot, like anybody who can think of a movement where you thought, actually, I didn't see much hierarchy at all, but there was a huge movement, cause movement happening. What movement can you think of? Unmute, use the chat box, whichever works. Great, not seeing much of responses, but see, to given like a simple example, potlucks are an example of a collective, smaller analogy of a movement, right? You don't necessarily sit and decide who will do what, how will that space. You don't plan for it. It just happens very organically, and that's also very true of volunteering movements, that it needs to happen organically and not by force, right? System should self-evolve and self-organize. Hence, in any self-organizing ecosystem, you will see that there won't be any hierarchy, right? If you look at all the COVID effort that happened in the country, nobody said, I am leading this, you need to listen to me. Everything happens very beautifully in a very self-organized way, right? That's also beautiful about volunteer system. That's essential for a volunteer system to thrive. The moment you bring in hierarchy, people will feel like, hey, but why should I do what somebody else is saying from a hierarchical perspective, right? So that's a third essential element. Fourth is interconnected to what I said. There need not be hierarchy, but there can be leadership roles and layers, right? But this doesn't come from a perspective of I am more than you, but this should come from a perspective of I want to take more responsibility than you and learn more than you, right? Typically, when you see any volunteering system, after they volunteer, they'll hit a void. I have planted trees for 10 months. What next? Right? Then the ecosystem needs to help, give them an opportunity to say, okay, now you can take up more responsibility. Can you drive a project, or can you develop more leaders for tree plantation? Can you create a Miyawaki forest in your community by mobilizing others, right? So people need that ladder, not hierarchically, but from a responsibility perspective, to keep saying, I want to do more, I want to create more. One of my other very interesting observations also has been that a lot of people who end up in social sector start their journey as volunteer, right? They start by saying, I'll do this one small act, and then they do it consistently. Then they feel like, okay, now I think I should do something bigger, right? I should take up more responsibility. And hence that ecosystem should allow people to take up more responsibility and thrive. Last is, of course, that everybody should have some way to feel like they're being watched, they're being acknowledged for their effort. Not from a sense of, oh, I'm giving you a token of appreciation, so you need to volunteer. Volunteering is hard, right? I feel like in Bhumi, some of these volunteers lead an entire city, and they lead like 40, 50 shelter homes. They lead a group of 300, 400 volunteers, and all this only in their weekend time with the limited time they get outside of their full-time employment. So it's essentially you keep them motivated, make them to feel that you are contributing, you are adding value to the cause, and you're moving forward. I'm going to pause here. This slide, I believe, is probably the essence of what I did want to capture. And I'm going to stop my talking and take any questions. Yeah. Feel free to shoot. I've also kept this to be shorter so that I can take more questions. So any questions, feel free to shoot. Chat box, unmute, both works. Before you do that, just also small call to action if any of you here are interested. So we at Bhumi, we do multiple things. Two specific things I want to invite you to definitely take a look at is, of course, our volunteering opportunities if you're keen to volunteer in a cause. So I'm sharing the link for that in the chat box in case you are looking for active volunteering opportunities. Other is we have also launched a fellowship program where we are placing fellows who will be looking at transforming schools in the short term by working with all the stakeholders, right? Like teachers, parents, students, and HMs. But in the long term, become advocates of education movement and build a movement. Yeah. So check out both. See if either of these are something that you are keen to explore or any of your friends might be keen to explore. Open for questions, conversations right now.
So I think, Prabhakaran, when we had spoken earlier, we had mentioned that there are ways that students can choose their cause at Bhumi, and all our alumni, if they want, you can take as many alumni as are interested. So, what if you could just share some of the 4 or 5 key cause projects that are happening? Because starting their own movement will take time, but for now they can join if you have different causes. So which are some of the causes that are in flow right now?
Sure. Thanks for building that bridge, Shweta. Definitely. So one of our biggest verticals is Ignite. And if you're someone who's looking to contribute there, I think you can definitely start volunteering. Ignite is where we work with hundreds of shelter homes in the country, and we are providing holistic development. We do maths, English, science classes over the weekends, right now virtually, of course, and also arts, dance, robotics. So it's an extremely packed holistic development program in shelter homes. So please feel free to pitch in, start volunteering, and after a bit of volunteering, you can of course step up to take more responsibility, become a center coordinator, become a city coordinator, and then take up more, create more impact. That's one project I can definitely recommend you take a look at. Other predominant causes, if you're looking at volunteering, is environment in Bhumi. We have a lot of programs, projects where we are driving meaningful projects in cleanup drives and tree plantation. We do a lot of also these, like we have a program called Eco Champs where we are taking environmental education to children in government schools. So you can definitely start volunteering there, and then of course step up once you feel more connection, right? So education shelter homes is where we'll definitely can have you all join the movement, start volunteering, leading in education. Environment, we have a lot of activity happening. Once you register there, you'll start getting more updates. We can go into more specifics. We also work with a lot of community welfare activities, disaster relief when it needs to. So that's the third vertical. And fourth biggest is our animal welfare. We also do a lot of work with, now it's stopped, but we used to visit animal shelter homes and work with them. So we used to feed stray animals, try reflective corners. A lot of new projects are also emerging, but this I'll pause here and then maybe take more inputs or questions.
Any other questions?
Also, if you're somebody who's, again, if you register to get all this, we also have a lot of skilled volunteering opportunity, right? We have teams where we are looking for website developers, poster designers. What Bhumi is also doing is we don't believe that we should do it for ourselves. So some of these skill volunteering we also offer to other NGOs. So our Tech for Change team is building websites for other NGOs, right? Our Media for Change team does the creatives for internal team, is also now creating a social media presence for other NGOs who are reaching out to us. So skilled volunteering is also something we are able to readily have you start contributing with us.
That's wonderful. So if everyone can, I think in Seema's session, we already talked about a cause that we all want to work on. if everyone can think about it a little bit and, take in what Prabhakaran has shared, maybe volunteer with an NGO of your choice for some time and then start working in that direction, even if it's not a very big movement. I think Bhumi has reached a huge scale, right, with 35,000 volunteers. But even if you just have your parents and your siblings volunteering with you on your initiative, that's a start. And even if it's virtual, I think it's a start. So the whole idea of this topic was to get everyone to realize that Republic Day was about setting up a country which was by the people, but we spend all this time just complaining about our country rather than actually doing something for the country. So I think, Prabhakaran, you've really set the context for this, and we really like to thank you for taking out your time, sharing your ideas, and congratulate you for all the amazing work that you're doing. And I know it's not easy because it's always challenging when you're trying to do something good. People don't always support and you have to fight actually to do good sometimes. But people like you really persevere, and I think you're an inspiration to the Talerang students and alumni. So thank you so much for your time and for taking the time. And everyone, let's get started.
Thank you so much, Shweta. I'll just end by saying that I think one of the things that, again, deeply bothers me as an individual is that there is just so much misery, right? We don't see it because sometimes we're just stuck in our own circle of our phones, our work, but there is just so much wrong happening around us, right? And there's never enough in how many people should contribute. I literally feel like everybody should contribute, and even then we might not be able to solve the problems we have because they're so huge. So lot of work to be done, see where you can start contributing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Over back to Kaustubh and Anushka.
Yeah, so Anushka, you can start it.
Yes. Hi, my name is Anushka, and now I want all of y'all to unmute yourselves and tell me what are you the most proud of India for? And for me, I'll say I'm very proud of the cultural heritage that we have, and I want every one of you to unmute yourselves and mention this. Guys, one by one. I want to hear your voices. Unmute yourselves.
Yeah, I would like to answer that. Yeah, I'm proud of India for the fact that, yeah, we have all the Indians. So unlike America and Australia, we don't have any Europeans or something like that. So all the Indians are actually Indians. They're not from anywhere else.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm proud of India because Indians are the hardest workers everywhere we go. And we get to the top through our grit and through the efforts that we put in. That's something I'm super proud of. In 20 years' time, India is going to be like superpower.
Yes. Guys, come on, I want more answers.
I'm proud about the never say die attitude we have. No matter what happens, how much we crib, we're always back to digging our heels in and, looking at what next personally. And I think for India as a whole. So I think that's an achievement.
Yes, that's right. Guys, anyone else?
I think India has the best food.
True. Well said. Anyone?
Tourist spots.
Sorry?
She said tourist spots.
Yeah, tourist spots. That's true. India does have beautiful places.
And I'm proud of secularism. We have a different culture and religion we have, and we get around the voices. So we have a secularism in each and every one person, and India has a different country which have all religions, and we have a different festivals. So I am proud of as to be Indian because we have a secularism.
Right, true.
I'm proud to be Indian because we are successful in many aspects, such as just a recent example, Lena Nair, the new CEO of Chanel.
Right.
It's very inspiring. Like we are becoming very international.
Yes.
I love how we stand united after all of the diversities that we have. And adding on to Sumaya's point, I love how we respect the secularism up to a certain extent. So that's great.
Right. Anyone else?
I love our generosity. So even though on the happiness index, we're almost at 150, unfortunately, on the generosity index, we're I think around 44 in terms of the world's countries. So that's very interesting that even though people may not have everything, they're still willing to share.
Right.
Also, we have a very rich history, and we have some of the best leaders in the world that come from India.
True, true. Yes.
Now, there's one point I want to actually mention that I found interesting. So, Bismarck, the German chancellor, is known around the world and is credited to bring together German states together. While in retrospect, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel got in, I think, around 600 princely states within 1/4 of the time that Bismarck did. So I think that's something really impressive.
I think also the Indian feeling of community, no matter city, town, or village, there's always that feeling of community. The elders are, even if somebody is standing outside the door and waiting, the neighbor will say, why don't you come inside and, sit till the person comes in, kind of a feel. They're never, people shutting doors or ignoring people. There's always that hand holding and tons of advice and help going around. So I think that feeling of community in India is really big and something that we really need to kind of preserve and be proud about.
Yes. So with this, we come towards the end of our program, and I hope all of you all had a lot of fun and a very happy Republic Day to all of you all. Over to Shweta ma'am.
Thank you so much. I really believe in the power of our alumni. And the reason, like I said, we wanted to do this is because I think you guys are capable of so much more. And just because you're working home alone doesn't mean that you can't be a part of something much bigger than yourself. And like I said in the beginning, for those of you who joined in a little late, this year our goal is about information, reaching out to as many people as possible, making sure that we're creative. So we're launching a new course called Out of the Box, and also making sure that we're empathetic towards each other. So in terms of our New Year's resolutions as a company, that's what we're really striving for. And we need your help as alumni to help us achieve these goals. So our movement is employability, as you all know, and we plan to be India's first EdTech unicorn in the employability space. So that's our vision, that's our goal for the next 5 years. And we really look forward to having all of you with us as we build this movement. We'll be working with students from all economic backgrounds. So we will have lots of opportunities across the board. Kaustubh is just going through some of the partners that we have with us who are supporting us, mentors. But really the power of Talerang is in the alumni. And we're really grateful to all of you for all that you do, and also to the Talerang team for everything that all of you do every day. So thank you to all of you for joining. Thank you to the speakers, and enjoy tomorrow. Make sure that you spend time with family and spend some time with yourself, and try not to hit your laptop tomorrow if possible. Get some rest, and I also just want to take this opportunity to thank the branding team that has worked really hard to put this event together. So can we have a big round of applause for the entire branding team? Anushka, Prashanti, Nafisa, Kaustubh, Lakshay, Nyanal has also helped a lot. Have I missed anyone? Mehek, Nafisa?
I think we're all covered.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And have a wonderful evening and have a wonderful day tomorrow. Thank you. Happy Republic Day. Thank you, guys.